countries in the ocean of Africa, the countries, the coastal countries in Africa, but also supported by partners like the United Nations, like UNDP, like OCDE, United Kingdom, France, South Korea, Portugal, and without forgetting other countries. So to discuss this one, we looked at the stakes of the blue economy and showed the necessity of knowing in Africa and nationally how we can promote this thematic area. How do we sensitize the whole countries? We talked right now the problem of preserving the resource, preserving the resource. We are having fishing. We are talking of overfishing and also illicit fishing, which is a very big scourge which affects our country. They talked about today the problem of pollution. You know that oceans, it is 90% of traffic. The world depends on everything. The construction of all countries goes through the maritime transport, the difficulties to control that maritime pollution at this level. So it is for this reason that we wanted that the declaration of Moroni, the work that was done on this declaration can be written in the international context, which is shared by all the countries. My friend from Seychelles who was here, who has participated in this meeting, who has shown the difficulties that the smaller states are going through. So we are, the Comoro Islands has done the promotion of this green economy and in different forums. Tomorrow we are showing that this Moroni declaration should be shared with the rest of the countries. So it was demonstrated in Africa because on the blue economy, this strategy for us, it is to vulgarize so that all the countries in Africa participate in it, but also get partners because the blue economy, it is oceans. If we do not have water, the ocean, we cannot talk about it. But it's also very expensive. It's very expensive in relation to the problem of waste. So when we talk of plastic, which is poison for our marine creatures, I would like to state at this forum that we stop the production of plastic bags, which constitute one of the greatest sources of pollution of our marine. I'm going to leave the chance to other colleagues to share by telling more Islands framework of this presidency. We are going to share this, the Declaration Morari here, and COP28 also. We hope that everybody will support that declaration. Thank you very much. Thank you, Honorable Minister. Thank you also for the leadership of the Comoro Islands for concentrating this question on the blue economy in its and also recognizing that there is no climatic resistance without resilience in the oceans, and also making it known to African countries. So
Excellency, the Commissioner for Agriculture, Rural Development, Blue Economy and Sustainable Environment of the African Union, Her Excellency Ambassador Joseph Asako. Thank you very much, Commissioner, for being with us. We know you are everywhere, but here is the oceans. It's the center of the world right now, so thank you for being with us. I also recognize that our colleague Minister Ahmed may have some other commitments, so I would like to go to him next. Mr. Ahmed Hussein, as a partner for Africa, how do we encourage co-investment in this regenerative ocean partnership, and looking at it from the perspective of both governments and the private sector?
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Merci, Monsieur le Ministre. Enchanté. Je suis heureux d'être ici avec vous aujourd'hui. It is a pleasure to be here. I want to thank the Kenyan government for inviting all of us and for really organizing this wonderful event. Look, you touched on a really important word, co-investment. How can we leverage government dollars to increase impact on these issues by attracting private sector dollars, which are, as we know, even more numerous? So, and that's what it will really take, protecting our oceans, using the resources responsibly and in a sustainable manner. Although we know it can't be done in isolation, it has to be done in a strategy that encompasses climate change policies, that encompasses the need to tackle plastic pollution, as the minister spoke about. But it is also the innovation that was spoken about earlier in the previous panel. I think one of the areas for growth, for innovation, is really tapping into the private sector and enabling government dollars to de-risk private sector investments, to unlock investments in the blue economy, so that we can have more people have more food security by using the blue economy, access to food security in a sustainable manner, economic growth, job creation, inclusion of women and youth, key priorities for Canada and for Africa. And our government's feminist international assistance policy emphasizes the importance of investing in the most vulnerable members of our community, but also accepting the notion and recognizing the importance of having a gendered lens and a gender equality and the empowerment of women and girls as the best way to build a more peaceful and inclusive and prosperous society. And the blue economy is strictly linked with that, because as we know, as the minister indicated, many folks who could benefit more in a sustainable, responsible manner from the blue economy are prevented from doing so for various reasons. Either they're tackling plastic pollution, they're facing real and growing dangers connected to climate change, or they have no access to capital to invest and grow their businesses. The other piece is youth. We know in Africa there's a youth bulge. How do we leverage that reality to invest in the blue economy, to harness the dynamism and the energy of youth and the enthusiasm for a better future? How do we harness that to bring forth their ideas, their leadership, so that they can enable us to drive change, to enable us to benefit from the blue economy in a sustainable manner, in a responsible manner, and to tackle the threats to it, including climate change and plastic pollution. I would end by saying that adaptation is a key part of the blue economy, and Canada is happy to support the Global Center on Adaptation's Africa Adaptation Accelerator Program to the tune of almost $5 million to accelerate adaptation action in Africa. This initiative builds on Canada's efforts to support climate adaptation at scale and closing the adaptation gap. So as we talk about the blue economy, adaptation is part of the conversation. Integrating the approach to the blue economy across different aspects of government is also, I think, something that should be applauded. It is something that the government of Kenya has done, and we should emulate that and learn from each other, which brings me back to partnership, but also harness the creativity, capital, innovation, and drive and reform of the private sector. Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Ministre. Je sais que vous avez peut-être aussi un autre engagement.
Have
mais
another
si vous pouvez rester,
engagement,
vous êtes le bienvenu.
but if you could remain here, you are welcome.
For having highlighted
And
some of the key issues, in particular, I think recognizing that the opportunities linked to the demographic dividend of Africa, the youth bulge, young people that are also coming up with innovations and who will be depending on the resources from the ocean. And this is where we have the opportunity for that co-investment, and its investment in the future of Africa, which will also drive further opportunities elsewhere. This brings me to go to Her Excellency Ambassador Josefa Sacco from the African Union Commission. And Your Excellency Ambassador Sacco, we know that the African Union Commission is implementing a very ambitious African Union Blue Economy Strategy, as well as the Green Recovery Action Plan. And how do we ensure this African ownership of ocean-based development? And how in particular do we address the inclusion of women and young people? I know this is something of great importance to you.
Thank you, Jean-Paul, for giving me the floor. Good afternoon, every one of you. Excellencies, Minister present, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocol duly observed. Thank you for having me on this esteemed panel. I am honored to recognize the presence of Honorable Minister Doir Doul Kamal of Comores, qui est le président, qui est le ministre de Comores, de la République de, comment dirais-je, pardon, l'Union de Comores, qui est à la présidence de l'Union africaine. Honorable José Excelência José Costa, secretário de Estado de Águas de Portugal, do Mar de Portugal, His Excellency Ahmed Hassan, Minister of Climate Finance from Canada. You are all welcome to our African Climate Summit, and this is a side event to us. It's very important. Excellencies, our ocean has shared treasures, naturally inviting partnership. Africa plays a pivotal role in the world's oceanic access, with 2/3 of our African Union member states having about, I will say it's about 33 countries on the continent are coastal countries. Africa is endowed with a priceless environmental resources that the world depends on. The potential for investing in our blue economy is really very important for us. With 33 coastal countries and about 5-6 islands on the continent, we believe that this is an area that we need to unleash the potential, unlock the potential, so that we can, for one time, remove our population into extreme poverty. We have the resources, and we need to see where we can exploit. Because the question you asked me, and rightly asking about what are we doing for women and the youth, we know that when we look at the potential of our oceans, if you take just the fishery sector, women play a very pivotal role. About 28% of on the value chain of the processing have been done by women. What are we doing for these women? They are also they take part of the food security, because this is a protein. This is a protein that we need. So we need to empower these women. In African Union, since after the reform, this department was given a mandate. It was given a mandate of blue economy. Immediately, we started with some partners to develop our blue economy strategy. And we adopted it, our head of state have adopted it. This is really our blueprint program. The blue economy project strategy exists. We are now engaging on how to mobilize funds in order to implement this blue economy. Since morning, I've been saying, we have all the tools. The tools exist, the will exists. It is capital, it is investment that we don't have. That's why this important Africa Climate Summit is very important, because one of the outcomes we are expecting here, it's about financing, which financial mechanism that this continent can have access in order to really transform the socio-economic of our continent. We in African Union, we have, with support of some partners, Norway and Sweden, we are already identifying and mapping up the women in fishery. We have already been given capacity. We went to the first ever project that we had. It was women capacity in Abuja last year. We had this seminar. We gathered women. The second one was last year also in Mozambique. We're in Mozambique during the 15th of October. Every year we celebrate the International Rural Women. So those women, we want to make at the African Union, we are now trying to make a strategy, a woman in agriculture, whereby this agriculture should be the big A. Because agriculture is not only crop, agriculture is livestock, agriculture is fishery, agriculture is environment, agriculture is forest. So that's why in African Union, we are really gathering all these women that contribute for the food security of our continent. The African Union is also fostering partnership that accentuate the continent's blue economy. The strategy have set in place the blue economy, confirm the immense potential of our ocean. The leaders' commitment to include the blue economy in the African Union reform underlines the significance that the continent attached to this important sector. Our diverse marine ecosystem are teeming and with investment opportunity. Even like during COP27 and the Moroni Declaration only reaffirm all these importance that we Africans have put in on our ocean. They truly seize this opportunity. We need international investment paired with shared technology and scientific know-how. That is why in the African Union, we set up the Center of Excellence for Fishery, for Piracy, and all this thematic on the fishery, on the ocean that we have. We have a lot of issues of piracy. We don't have harmonization on how to conserve the ocean. So all these, we have the centers of excellence in each region of Africa. We have set our centers of reference, of excellence, sorry. And those centers of excellence, we are trying to institutionalize it and try to work so that it will serve as a center of training of our young citizens so that they can have skill and start exploiting that opportunity of a job on the continent. My department remains committed to pushing boundaries in innovation, science, and technology with the blue economy. Beyond traditional marine endeavors, such as subsistence fishery, we envision a future that embrace sectors like blue biotech and green shipping. Our engagement, whether at the UN Ocean Conference or via the African Union Initiative, underscore our belief in integrating youth and women into ocean science and the broader blue economy. The interest in innovative marine venture across our continent is evident, from women transforming fish waste into nutritional products to young innovators employing all the conservation. These budding enterprises need need funding and raw material to fully realize their potential. Early this year, the African Union Commission, along with notable partner, endorsed the Blue Future Ministerial Conference, culminating in the Moroni Declaration, with Minister, sorry for the pronunciation, the Minister Douir Dulkamar has already highlighted. The initiative further stresses the need for blue jobs and amplify the importance of African continental free trade area. Ocean stewardship is paramount. Together, we must shield our ocean from threats and emphasize by the joint effort of the African Union Commission and the WWF against illegal fishing practices. We are losing a lot of money in the illegal fish practices. In the land, you can detect the enemy or those piracy, but in the water it's very difficult. We need really sophisticated. That's why our centers of excellence. We want sophisticated technology to dictate to dictate all this piracy because we are losing a lot. About 30% of our fishery goes to piracy, and we need to combat it. Our ocean, a shared responsibility.
Commissioner, unfortunately, we have another event coming.
I'm
Could I just wrap up? Thanks.
I've almost finished. Sorry. I'm talking about 55
Go
countries,
ahead.
3 minutes. You cannot call a commissioner to come and talk about 55 countries and give her 3 minutes. What am I going to say? Just good morning, bon dia, boa tarde, I submit. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner, and I fully agree with you. Unfortunately, we are very much short on time. I would now like to go to the Minister from Portugal, Minister Costa, and we want to get your perspectives, Minister, on how Portugal and also through Portugal, the EU and other partners can support this ambition that we are hearing from all of the partners in Africa. Minister.
Thank you. Merci. Em primeiro lugar, cumprimento muito caloroso à senhora embaixadora, portanto, e comissária também da União Africana. Merci. Mes compliments à tous les membres de cette panel et aussi mes compliments pour les modérateurs. First of all,
Primeramente nosotros, yo quisiera agradecer
and share some insights about the action to protect, conserve and restore the global ocean throughout joint action and identification of source and forms of financing the blue economy. Last year, Portugal and Kenya co-organized the second United Nations Oceans Conference and, in parallel, the Sustainable Blue Economy Investment Forum. The successful co-organization of this event serves an example of the feasibility of successful joint efforts between African and European partners. And the atmosphere created around these initiatives, which has spread to many other partners, generate a great multilateral wave, perhaps the first since the beginning of the ongoing war in Europe, has shown that work together to protect the ocean is not only desirable, but also possible. Returning to finance, Portugal and Kenya, aware of the importance of these issues for the consolidation of the blue economy, wanted to highlight during the week in which the whole world brought tide of the hope and the joint desire to row in the same directions to Lisbon, organizing the Sustainable Blue Economy Investment Forum. Portugal is commitment organizing the second edition of the Sustainable Blue Economy Investment Forum is a demonstration of our dedication to promote the robust economic growth while ensuring a healthy ocean, creating blue jobs, and contributing to a more equitable and prosperous society. The problems of the coastal communities will not be solved in a single day. Not will challenges posed by the climate change be met, but discussing them in their various fields, as we are doing here today, is more important than we often think, and is fundamental to strengthen the call to join the cause of the protecting the ocean. And
Minister, I'm really sorry. Oh, sorry, you are finishing, please.
I invite you to participate in the 4th of October in Lisbon in the second SPAVE. And I will share with you the preoccupations from the Portuguese government and what we would like to share. First of all, I think we need more knowledge and research in the oceans issues. It's very important. Secondly, the planning to form the maritime spaces is very important. The coexistence of different professions and different activities in the oceans. Third, we are very committed in the renewable energies offshore, in the sustainable aquaculture, in the green shipping, and the blue biotechnology. And we are making this way, working in the multilateral areas and in the European Union and with the African Union. We are very open to participate in this, and the Portuguese government adopts a resolution for the cooperation, the Portuguese cooperation in the oceans and the blue economy. And the first of all is the development of human capacities and the governance in the oceans. The second is the promoting the sustainable economy in the oceans. Third, the promotions of the sustainable management and promoting the education, the formation, the culture and the literacy for the oceans, for the young people, and the defense of the multilateralism and the governance from the global oceans.
Sorry, Minister, we
Thank you.
have to close. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. Thank you very much, Minister. Please, thank you. I would like to once again apologize to all of our panelists. We started late. This also means that the next panel, unfortunately, we have no choice because there was going to be one more panel, but unfortunately, we are not able to proceed. So we really apologize to the panelists, and we will have to conclude here. I would like to thank Commissioner Sacko, Minister Costa, Mr. Hussein, Minister Dukamal. Je remercie tout le monde pour les propos très importants. I would like to thank all of the panelists for the fantastic proposals they have put forward around the regenerative blue economy and for partnerships, which I think will really take us forward in terms of climate resilience. Thank you very much. We will now have to immediately close, and I would like to just invite the IUCN Africa Director, Luther Anuko, to do a very, very short summary. If you can do it in 1 minute, Luther, because I'm getting into big trouble. But thank you so much once again to the ministers, and our apologies to the other panelists. Merci beaucoup. Obrigado. Asante sana.
What? Okay, so an announcement. We're closing this. Okay, so we stop it. Huh? Just let me know. I will.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the another event which is meant to start here at 18 hours. So we request all of us to take our room seats, and the way we've organized this is in such a way that since this is a ministerial session and there are no nameplates, we will reserve the first two front rows across the room to be for the ministers. Then the rest of us will be required to sit behind our ministers. So kindly, we're already running late. We started late behind schedule, just to make you aware that there are two events in one running for just 1 hour. So the first event is bound around the Kampala Ministerial Declaration. On migration, environment, and climate change, of which we have 30 minutes, as the chair will clarify. Then after that, it runs into the main Nairobi Declaration, a debrief to the ministers. And after that, we'll have dinner starting at 7 p.m. So as you can see, we're really, really extremely time bad, and I request I request for your cooperation so that we can have an early start to this, and we don't jeopardize any of the the events as planned by the organizers. Thank you very much. Just to repeat and re-emphasize, the front seats are the seats for the honorable ministers. So kindly, the leaders who are helping us coordinate with the ministers, please help us ensure the ministers come and take up the two front rows. In the meantime, a copy of the Kampala Ministerial Declaration, the expanded declaration, is being given out outside in hard copy for your consideration. I think in order to manage time very well, let me begin by inviting His Excellency Honorable Sam Wangusho Cheptoris, who is the Minister of Water and Environment of the Republic of Uganda, representing His Excellency General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, to take up his seat at the podium. I'll also invite Her Excellency Honorable Saipan Tuya, Minister of Environment, Forestry and Climate Change of the Republic of Kenya, to take up a seat. Last but not very least, I'll invite the IOM DG-elect, Pope, to also take up a seat. Thank you very much.